Hello everyone, welcome to today's Sky Racing News. There's plenty of it around, and one of the major stories comes from the Sunshine Coast stable of trainer David Van Dyke. In the last few weeks here on Sky, we've watched a 3-year-old called Winona Nakoni win twice there very, very impressively. Well, now the news is that the horse has been sold to Hong Kong in the last few hours. The horse will be trained by John Size in Hong Kong in the future. David Van Dyke bought the horse from the Caracas sales. He's now 2 from 2 at the Sunshine Coast, and for a lucrative figure, he's been sold to Hong Kong, as I say, to be trained by John Size, Winona Nakoni. Well, talking of breeding, the Black Caviar first progeny in Ossietra has been retired to the breeding barn. The horse has only had 5 runs for a couple of wins, trained by Lindsay Park, but they feel, the owners, that the timing is right, with just a few issues with the filly, is that the Exceed and Excel Black Caviar filly Ossietra be retired. She is obviously a very valuable broodmare in the future. She's most likely going to go to a very popular stallion in the Hunter Valley. That yet to be announced. The next of the Black Caviars, Prince of Caviar, could be running on Saturday at Sandown. That is a Sebring colt. Well, what a decision made earlier there in the morning by trainer Bjorn Baker with Champagne Cuddles. Right through the week, it was going to be, of course, running in the Fred Best. Now it's running in the Group 1 Kingsford Smith. The track work yesterday was perfect. The horse now obviously meets an older group of horses, a more experienced group of horses. But off the recent Gold Coast track record win, the owner and Bjorn feel the right thing to do is to tackle the big Group 1. The only disappointing thing is now Champagne Cuddles has come up with barrier 10 of 11 in the Kingsford Smith Cup. At Doomben on Saturday, that track should be perfect. At the moment, it's rated a good 4. There is a very slim chance of maybe a shower or two on Friday or Saturday, but nothing too significant. In that Kingsford Smith Cup, I mentioned Champagne Cuddles drawing barrier 10, impending barrier 9 just inside. Finally, a good draw for Le Romain. It's drawn barrier 5 and right in the market. And the Doomben 10,000 winner English has come up with barrier 1. What a competitive race it is on Saturday. The other Group 1 is the Queensland Oaks. At this stage, Chris Wallace seems to have a stranglehold on this race. The favourite Young Star comes up with barrier 4 in a field of 16. No luck, though, for the Freedman trained Coral Coast. Gets the blinkers, but has drawn barrier 16 of 16. Now to Randwick on Saturday, and Joe Pride has his informed mare Pecans lining up in the sprint race over 1,100 metres, coming off the big Hawkesbury Crown win. They'd love to get the horse into the Stradbroke, so it needs to really win and lift its rating, lift its prize money, so a strong competitive run is expected. Pecans has drawn barrier 11 there on Saturday at Randwick. And the feature race at Randwick on Saturday is the McKell Cup. We're going to see our Century, the former Lloyd Williams horse, now with Kim Waugh, line up. A strong gallop yesterday showed Kim Waugh that the horse is absolutely primed to run 2,400 metres on Saturday. A good run there in the McKell Cup. We'll see it off to Brisbane for the Brisbane Cup. But going by, just giving that horse an extra week has been a big positive for our Century. All right. Stacks of news around. I promised you that. There's lots more on social media. We can tell you Darren Weir's decided to spell Leicester and land of plenty, but check out all those websites. For the moment, though, that's the latest Sky Racing News.